A presidential tie, the Suez Canal, and Footloose are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is February 17th, 2021. It is the 48th day of the year. We got 317 days left in 2021. It's also your 7th Wednesday in the 8th week of the year. It's 59th day of winter. We got 31 days left until spring. And Pearl Harbor Day is only 293 days away. So get ready. I don't know if you get ready for that, but today is Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday is mainly a Catholic observance in which ashes are marked on the foreheads of parishioners in the shape of a cross. The ashes are meant as a reminder of our mortality and our sinfulness, and they put this on your head and you look ridiculous the rest of the afternoon. I grew up going to Catholic school, private Catholic school in Redondo Beach, California called St. James. Every single year they put this on our head, I felt ridiculous. And then my whole family would have them, and it was just humiliating. I don't see the point, but hey, to each their own. Ash Wednesday marks the beginning of Lent, a 40-day period, excluding Sundays, that ends with Easter. You're supposed to give things up and all this other stuff and pray. Yeah, I never got into it. All right, let's see what else February 17th has given us. 1801, an electoral tie between Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr is resolved when Jefferson is elected the President of the United States and Burr the Vice President by the United States House of Representatives. Yeah, if it gets to a full-on tie, the House of Representatives decides who's the President of the United States. The chances of that ever happening again with the amount of people that we have now, yeah, it'll never happen again. 1819, the United States House of Representatives passes the Missouri Compromise for the first time. Apparently this happened a couple times. Now this is a weird one. Most people think the Missouri Compromise is similar to the Louisiana Purchase. We didn't get land from this. Missouri was already there as a territory and would become a state 2 years later. But the Missouri Compromise really had to do with slavery. In February of 1899, Representative James Talmadge Jr., a Jefferson Republican from New York, had submitted 2 amendments to Missouri's request for statehood that included restrictions on slavery. On February 17th, it was voted on for the first time and passed. There were different back and forths with this legislation over the next year, which included a second Missouri Compromise at one point. But eventually, it was signed by the president in March of 1820, a little over a year later. The provisions of the Missouri Compromise forbidding slavery were effectively repealed by Stephen A. Douglas's Kansas-Nebraska Act in 1854. The repeal of the compromise caused outrage in the North. They just weren't having it. This guy found an end around to get slavery when it was already kind of settled to just keep it in the South. But the Kansas-Nebraska Act sort of is what brought Abraham Lincoln back into politics. One thing leads to another, we become 2 separate countries and go to war with each other in the Civil War. 1867, the first ship passes through the Suez Canal. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Most people, at least in the United States, don't realize there's more than one canal in this world. The Suez Canal's just about as important to the world as the Panama Canal. 1965, Project Ranger. The Ranger 8 probe launches on its mission to photograph a region of the moon in preparation for the manned Apollo missions. The area it photographed is known as the Sea of Tranquility, which would become the site chosen for the Apollo 11 lunar landing. 1980, the first winter ascent of Mount Everest by, I'm going to screw these names up, Krzysztof Wilicki and Lesnik Chitney. I don't know. Here's their names. You guys work on that one. Anyway, this was the first winter ascent. As you know, it is very cold up there and incredibly hard to climb. At least it used to be. Nowadays, everyone goes. It's like these things that executives put a picture up in their office because they conquered Mount Everest. Well, when you only had leather shoes and wool jackets and no GPS and no communication stuff, it was incredibly hard and very rare for someone to go up Mount Everest. Now with all the technology we have with the winter clothing and things like that and communication devices and everything else, it's become not nearly as hard as it used to be, and that's why you have so many people heading up to Everest these days. It's gotten so bad, they've actually had traffic jams where people were stuck on this big long line of people going up to the top of Mount Everest, and they got to basically wait in line to summit the thing. That's ridiculous. You know, take me back to the days when people like Sir Edmund Hillary was one of a handful of people that summit Mount Everest. Nowadays, it's like every joker with an MBA that decides he's having a midlife crisis decides to go and summit Everest and then put a picture behind his desk and keep guiding conversations to how he summited Everest. It's ridiculous. 1991, Ryanair International Airline Flight 590 crashes during takeoff from Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, killing both pilots. That was the only guys on the plane. I don't know why they didn't have a full load, but yeah, it was just the pilot and co-pilot. 2015. This one's really sad. 18 people are killed and 78 injured in a stampede at a Mardi Gras parade in Haiti. I always hate seeing something people are celebrating or they're happy or something like that. They're just there for celebration and something tragic happens. That's always the worst kind of tragedy to me. Movies released on February 17th. 1985, Footloose, the greatest movie ever, according to Star-Lord. No, just kidding. If you ever watch Guardians of the Galaxy, you'll get that. But yeah, this is a great movie. Kevin Bacon, John Lithgow, Laurie Singer, Chris Penn, Sarah Jessica Parker was in this. It was a really good movie. I mean, when I was younger, it was good. I watched it, probably a handful of years ago. It was on like HBO or something. It was kind of cringy, but yeah, I liked it when I was younger. They did a remake, I guess, in like 2010, 2011, something like that. And apparently it was horrible. I never watched it. Little piece of trivia about Footloose. It is actually loosely based on events that occurred in the community of Elmore City in Oklahoma. Yeah, apparently they did try and stop dancing because it was evil or something. Weird. Oklahoma's always been a little weird with things like that, especially rural Oklahoma. Whew, got some weird people out there. Born on February 17th, 1954, Renee Russo, American actress. She's been in movies all the way back to 1989's Major League, the original one. And more recently, everyone knows her as Thor's mom in all the Thor Dark World Thor movies and all that stuff. The Avengers Endgame, she was in that one. But she's been in a lot of different movies. Big Trouble, Two for the Money, Yours, Mine, Ours, which was actually very interesting. Nightcrawler, that was a good movie. Get Shorty, Outbreak, In the Line of Fire, One Good Cop, Mr. Destiny. So many good movies. But yeah, she turned 66 today. Died on February 17, 2013. We lost Mindy McCready, American singer-songwriter. She recorded a total of 5 studio albums. Her debut album in 1996 was called 10,000 Angels, was released on B&A Records, and was certified double platinum. She died by suicide at 37. McCready was found dead on her front porch from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, the same place where David Wilson, her former boyfriend and father of her young son, had fatally shot himself 1 month prior. She also fatally shot the pet dog that belonged to Wilson for some reason. I don't know. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.